Michael Jordan gave his final championship ring to a stranger, but why? The Beverly Hilton was filled with diamonds, flashbulbs, and names that didn't need introductions. The gala was for an elite children's foundation, Hollywood, athletes, billionaires all rubbing elbows in tailored suits and gowns stitched by designers most people couldn't pronounce. Then she walked in. Not loud. Not in red. Not asking for attention. She wore a navy dress with a quiet grace, her hair tied back, her presence calm, almost invisible, until someone looked at her hand. It started with a photographer. Then two. Then a sports blogger stopped mid-conversation and pointed. On her right ring finger was a piece of history. The unmistakable design. Black onyx, diamonds, the Bulls logo. Michael Jordan's 6th NBA championship ring. The whispers started spreading fast. "That's not a replica," said someone near the open bar. "No way she got that legally," another replied. Then came the question everyone began asking, who is she? A popular sports anchor, seeing the buzz, cut through the crowd. "Ma'am," he said, with the kind of polite urgency that always meant a camera was rolling somewhere. "That ring, you do know what you're wearing, right?" She smiled. Calm. No nervousness. Just truth. "Yes. He gave it to me." "He? You mean Jordan?" She nodded. "He said I earned it." It hit the room like a dropped mic silence, then disbelief, then the internet lit up. Who is this woman wearing Jordan's ring? Backstage, a Bulls executive spotted her on a monitor and stiffened. His face drained. Not fear, memory. He knew her. Or rather, he remembered the girl she once was. Chicago. 1998, a gym lit by buzzing ceiling lights and the sound of a bouncing ball. The West Side wasn't known for much back then except cracked pavement, loyalty, and losses. The Bulls were chasing their 6th title. The city was electric. But none of that mattered to Marcus Williams. Marcus was 23, barely making rent, but he ran the neighborhood youth center like it was the United Center itself. He wasn't about clout. He wasn't in it for fame. He just wanted the kids to have something real, something solid. That's where Keisha came in. 10 years old, all elbows and attitude, with a busted-up pair of Reeboks and a jumper she taught herself watching VHS tapes of Jordan and Iverson. Her mother worked 3 jobs. Her father? Gone. But she had Marcus. He believed in her the way some kids only see in movies. He'd pull her aside during drills and say, "You don't need to play like the boys. Just play like you mean it." She did. She'd take the ball, go head-to-head with older boys twice her size, and leave them jaw-dropped. But no one outside that gym cared. No scouts. No reporters. Just a bunch of forgotten kids trying to outscore a broken city. Marcus got an offer that summer. A big one. A sportswear rep offered to sponsor the center, renovate the gym, but the deal had strings. Control, branding, and a revised youth program that would exclude kids who weren't marketable. He said no. People told him he was stupid. But Marcus didn't flinch. "They're not numbers," he told Keisha one night. "They're kids. You don't sell your soul for a scoreboard." Then came June. The NBA Finals. Bulls versus Jazz. Jordan hit the shot, Game 6. Everyone knows that image, MJ, frozen in air, arm extended, ball mid-flight. The story ends there for most. But not for him. After the game, Jordan didn't fly out. He stayed in Chicago for a few extra hours. No media knew why. No cameras followed. He asked his driver to take him to an address scribbled on the back of a stat sheet. Marcus's youth center. It was empty when he arrived. Quiet. Dusty. Except for the court, where Keisha practiced alone, pushing herself like the title depended on it. Jordan watched from the shadows at first, silent. Then he stepped onto the court. Keisha froze. She blinked. She knew that face. Everyone did. But it was different up close. He wasn't smiling. "Let's play," he said, tossing her the ball. She stared. "I don't go easy," he added. Neither did she. It was messy, short, and unforgettable. She didn't win. But she scored. Clean jumper, no glass. Jordan stopped, nodded. "You earned that one." Then he left. When she checked the locker he'd used, there was a box. Inside was the ring. No note. No instructions. Just the weight of something that didn't belong to her, yet somehow did. The next morning, tragedy. Marcus had walked a younger kid home after practice. Wrong place, wrong time. A stray bullet ended everything he'd fought for. The news barely covered it. Another name on a growing list. Keisha disappeared after the funeral. No one knew where she went. But the ring? She kept it, hidden, untouched, locked away in silence for over 2 decades. Until tonight. Now she stood in Beverly Hills, the world watching, demanding answers. And for the first time, she was ready to speak. The applause had faded. Keisha stood backstage with a glass of untouched champagne. She had avoided the reporters, stepped away from the spotlight, but there was no escaping the questions now. Security had even been called to hold back 3 different sports media crews outside the ballroom. She looked down at the ring. She had worn it tonight not for attention, but because something inside her told her it was finally time. The truth had sat quietly for years. But the moment she walked into that room, everything shifted. Back in 1998, after Marcus was killed, the youth center fell apart in less than a month. No one stepped up. The sponsors who had tried to buy Marcus out were suddenly nowhere to be found. The building was eventually sold, repurposed into a storage lot. His legacy faded like chalk lines after rain. Keisha didn't stay to watch. She left Chicago. At just 17, she enlisted. No scholarship offers, no college recruiters ever came. But she didn't care. She needed distance, discipline, a reason to not fall apart. The military gave her that. Not comfort, not healing, but structure. Something she could control. She served 8 years, 3 of them in conflict zones. No complaints. No social media. No pity. When she returned, she didn't go home. She moved to Georgia, got a degree in counseling, and started working with kids, especially those who had lost siblings, parents, or friends to violence. She didn't advertise her past. She never once mentioned Marcus or the ring. It stayed hidden in a shoebox, buried deep in her closet. Until 5 months ago. She had been mentoring a boy named Elijah. Tough kid, 14, expelled from 2 schools already. His older brother had been arrested, his mother battling cancer. He had fire in him, anger and talent mixed into something unstable. She saw herself in him. After a rough day, Elijah had snapped. Thrown a chair across her office. Cursed her out. Security came. She told them to wait. She didn't lecture him. She didn't yell. She reached into her drawer, pulled out a photo. It was faded. A still shot of her and Marcus at the youth center, standing under the crooked rim. "This was my brother," she said. "He taught me how to survive with a ball and a court. He didn't make it past 23. Elijah sat down, staring at the picture. She reached into her bag and pulled out the ring. For the first time in 2 decades, it saw daylight. "Michael Jordan gave me this," she said. "But not because I scored 50 points or won a championship. He gave it to me because I stayed standing. Because I didn't quit when I had every reason to." The boy blinked, stunned. "That's real?" "Very." He didn't touch it. Just nodded. Something in him shifted. She knew then, the ring wasn't supposed to stay hidden anymore. Back at the Beverly Hills event, the Bulls executive who had recognized her approached quietly. His name was Barry Caldwell. He had worked in player relations during the late 90s. He had been with the team during their last championship year. I didn't know, he said. Most people didn't, Keisha replied. You know what that ring is worth? I know what it cost. Barry sat beside her on the velvet couch. His voice lowered. Jordan never talked about it, but I remember something. After that last title, he sent a message to someone on our staff. Said, deliver this box, no media, no tracking. Wouldn't say where it was going. That was you. Keisha nodded. I didn't sell it. I didn't pawn it. I didn't even tell anyone I had it. I believe you. He looked down. This is going to blow up. I'm not here to sell a story. I came because I promised myself I'd stop hiding. Barry leaned forward. Do you still have it in you? She raised an eyebrow. Not to play, he clarified. To lead. To pick up where your brother left off. Chicago's still bleeding, Keisha. That gym is long gone, but those kids, same struggle. She took a breath. It was never about the gym. It was about who walked into it. Later that night, as the gala came to a close, one of the foundation's directors pulled Keisha aside. We've never had a speaker like you, he said. Would you be willing to help us expand the program in Chicago? She thought about it. It wasn't an easy yes. It meant confronting old wounds. But she realized, maybe the ring wasn't just a gift. Maybe it was a charge. A mission. I'll go, she said. But I don't want to do speeches. I want to build something. 2 weeks later, she was back in Chicago. She visited Marcus's old neighborhood. The store he used to walk her to was boarded up. The park had new grass but the same broken bench. She stood where the youth center used to be. A cracked parking lot now covered the spot. But she could still hear the echo of the old ball bouncing off the walls. She called Elijah, now back in school and thriving. Told him she was starting something new. Asked him if he'd be the first recruit. Can I bring my cousin too? He asked. You bring whoever you want, she said. The foundation gave her seed funding. Barry helped reconnect her with old Bulls contacts. And slowly, brick by brick, court by court, something started forming. She named the new program after Marcus. The Earned Ring Foundation. No banners. No trophies. Just second chances, hard work, and kids who needed someone to tell them, you're worth more than where you came from. On the foundation's first open court night, Keisha unlocked her desk drawer. She placed the ring inside a case. Not locked away, not displayed like treasure, just there. Open. Visible. A reminder. Not of what Jordan gave her, but of what she gave back. The gym wasn't much, concrete walls, second-hand bleachers, and a floor that still needed sanding. But the lights worked, the rims were solid, and most important, the kids showed up. Dozens of them. Some shy, some rowdy, some already gripping a ball like it was armor. Keisha stood at center court, clipboard in hand, wearing sneakers for the first time in years. The Earned Ring Foundation had taken root fast. Local businesses had chipped in. Former players offered time and gear. Even a few old Bulls teammates quietly sent support, no fanfare. Word had spread. But one person hadn't shown up or said a word, Michael Jordan. Keisha never expected him to. She ran drills. Coached with patience. Pushed the kids the way Marcus had pushed her. And every now and then, when she caught a kid about to quit on themselves, she'd tap her finger on the patch above her heart where the foundation's logo sat. A small golden ring, tilted forward like it was always in motion. The program grew. Within 3 months, they had enough for a second location on the south side. Keisha trained new counselors herself. She stayed hands-on, refusing to let the foundation turn into a brand with her face on it. Then one Friday evening, just before closing, one of the younger volunteers rushed into her office, out of breath. Keisha, there's someone here to see you. She barely looked up. Tell them to leave a message. He's not the kind of guy you send away. When she stepped out of the office, the room went still. Michael Jordan stood near the entrance, ball cap low, black jacket zipped, hands in his pockets. He hadn't changed much. Still had the posture of someone who didn't need to announce who he was. They locked eyes. "Thought I'd stop by," he said. Keisha said nothing at first. The kids stared, whispering. One dropped their Gatorade. "You picked a good night," she said finally. "We're just closing. I'll be quick." They stepped outside under the streetlight. The court behind them buzzed with leftover energy. Jordan looked around. This was his spot, right? "Your brother." "Yeah," she said. "Every day after school." He nodded, quiet for a moment. "You ever wonder why I gave you that ring?" "I used to," she said. "But not anymore." Jordan half smiled. "Good. Because I didn't give it to you for what happened on the court. I gave it to you for what you didn't let happen off it." Keisha didn't respond right away. She thought about Marcus, about the way he guarded his kids like they were family, even when he had nothing to give. She thought about the bullet that ended everything for him, but not for her. "You didn't say anything back then," she said. "You wouldn't have listened. You needed to find out what it meant on your own." He reached into his coat, pulled out a folded envelope, handed it to her. "What's this?" "A letter. I wrote it back then. Never sent it." She opened it later that night. It was short. His handwriting was strong, steady. "Keisha, you don't owe me anything. This ring won't change what you've lost. It can't replace your brother. But you showed me something that night. Everyone wants to win. You needed to survive. You reminded me why I picked up a basketball in the first place. Keep fighting. MJ." She folded it, placed it beside the ring in the glass case on her desk. A week later, the foundation held its first showcase game. A full crowd showed up, parents, students, neighborhood regulars. Word had gotten out that some former NBA legends might attend, though nothing was confirmed. Keisha just focused on the kids. Elijah started at point guard. He wore a number 23 jersey, not because of Jordan, but because it was the number Marcus used to wear in the neighborhood league. Elijah didn't play perfectly. He missed 2 easy layups and nearly fouled out. But in the final minute, down 1, he drove hard into the paint and finished with a scoop layup that brought the crowd to its feet. The buzzer sounded. Keisha smiled. After the game, she gave Elijah a handshake and pulled him aside. "You earned that," she said. His grin stretched wide. One of the other counselors came running over, pointing toward the bleachers. "Keisha, you better see this." She followed the pointing. Michael Jordan was sitting in the front row, sunglasses still on, clapping. Next to him, 2 kids were laughing, each holding brand new sneakers with Jumpman logos. He gave her a slight nod. After the game, he stepped onto the court, walked over. Cameras had started flashing, but he ignored them. "Nice move out there," he told Elijah. "You watched that?" Elijah asked, stunned. "Whole game," Jordan said. "You've got heart." Then he turned to Keisha. "Don't stop. Even when they tell you it's enough. Don't stop." She nodded. "I won't." Before he left, Jordan leaned in slightly. "You know, I never missed that ring." "I know," she said. "But I needed it." "Not anymore." He looked back once before disappearing through the gym doors. No entourage. No press release. Just a quiet goodbye. The ring stayed in its glass case, but its meaning had shifted. It wasn't a relic. It wasn't even about the championship anymore. It was about carrying someone else's legacy forward when they couldn't. It was about proving you didn't have to be on TV or in the Hall of Fame to change a life. Months passed. The Earned Ring Foundation expanded. Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta. Each location run by people like Keisha, fighters, not figureheads. Years from now, kids will ask who Marcus Williams was. They'll hear stories about a guy who gave everything and asked for nothing, about a sister who picked up where he left off, and about a ring given not for points or banners, but for refusing to give up when it would have been easier to walk away. In one final shot, a photographer captured the court from above, kids dribbling, laughing, falling, getting back up. On the gym wall behind them, in bold black paint. Greatness isn't something you wear. It's something you pass on.